Anyone watching, hold on tight. I just got to finish adding in all the outputs. All right. So this is not real estate investing related. This is pure stocks related. And I just wanted to go over my strategy, and I actually want to share it with anyone who's maybe interested, because I think this is a great opportunity to get in on the ground floor before it's excessive. And I want to go over my strategies, why I did it, my background, my experiences, and why I'm purchasing some versus others, and just some warnings and caveats about stocks you can invest in, but like pharmaceuticals, but how those can be very risky. And now I had to learn that the hard way. So this is not real estate. Happy New Year, Abraham. This is purely, hey Regina, Thomas, Justin, Michelle, Calvin, this is purely stock related, not real estate investing. Some of you guys expressed interest. I was going hard on marijuana stocks. So I wanted to show you guys what is possible. So give me a couple more seconds. I just have to open up one more stream. I got to open up Lonely Periscope and see what's going on there. Just in case one or two people happen to join.
It's possible.
Let me see. Oh, yeah. Sean is blessed. He's always on. He loves Twitter. All right. I'm about to start. So, yeah, this is, again, I'm going to say, again, this is investing as in stocks, marijuana stocks specifically. I'm just going to tell you why and how I am investing in them, how I'm going about it, what my strategy is. If you have anything to offer, please do. If you have any questions, because right now I'm just giving you what I know I want to give you, but if there's something you're missing out or want me to go back to E-Trade and do something or ask me questions, I'll answer to the best of my abilities. I am not the best person at this. I'm really fundamental about it, but I'll also tag some of the people I know who teach stock investing and who have retired with stock investing. That's like Alanya Kohlberg. She got me started with some items I wasn't using. Tila Holcomb. So I will go ahead and grab somebody and tag them in these posts to see if they have anything to say, if you want to tag them directly. If they have a mind to. They usually get paid for it, but we'll see if they'll do it for Facebook. Okay. Happy New Year. Hey guys, so like I said, this is stock investing, marijuana stocks, and some of you guys expressed interest. So I'm going to go over why I'm investing in marijuana stocks, where it came from, why I'm doing it. So what really happened was during Christmas vacation, maybe it was like the 24th, like Christmas Eve, I woke up at 6:30 in the morning and all I heard was marijuana stocks. Now, I'm really big into spirituality and manifesting, and before I had manifested, I was like on my vision board, like, I want $1 million, right? So when you do that and you put it into the universe, sometimes you get something back. So I woke up at 6:30 in the morning, and trust, I don't do that. And all I heard was marijuana stocks. And I was like, oh yeah, about 4 months ago I was looking into that, but then I just stopped and didn't go any further. But, you know, I'm on vacation. I have time. Let me go for it. Can you guys hear me okay? And I'm laughing about it because it's a little silly, but, you know, it comes in dreams, right? So I looked into it, and just sort of my background too on investing in general. I like to invest in things that no one else is looking at. I mean, like, I'm not going to invest in anything. I don't want to invest in Google at $2,000 unless, you know what I mean? I want to invest on like Twitter when it's $5. Right? I mean, it makes sense. Like, even my investment strategy is buy low, sell high. So I'm always like, I don't care what everyone else is doing if it's not low. And marijuana is one of those industries that is growing and developing. So right now I think of it parallel to, I know what the drug industry is. I do a lot of reading and research on the Black community and what's going on with nonviolent drug offenses. Marijuana is a way for them to get people in the system who are poor and can't even afford to get their, you know, to post bail. So they're in jail for 3-4 months and they can't pay the fees to get out because they had a little bit of marijuana. So you know the drug industry is just one that you can bet on. Marijuana and cannabis oil are two of the things that, you know, anecdotally, I just know everyone's been swearing by it. And it's an industry that is making thousands. You watch the documentaries, people are making $30,000, $40,000 a day at these dispensaries, right? So you know it's a good deal. And so I started looking deeper into it, and I wanted to share my thoughts because not all of you guys have time. You know, I had Christmas break, and if I didn't have Christmas break, I don't know if I would have had the time to do all this, to sort of go into what's been happening, what stocks are on the stock exchange, what kind of companies and ways to invest in, and what I've chosen and why. But yeah, just in general, I consider investing in stocks at this marijuana stocks at this moment the same as investing in the railroad, like when it first got introduced. So my strategy is completely buy and hold for the long term, but I honestly want every Black person in America, and even if you're not Black, but especially for our community, to invest in stocks and just sit on it, because if anyone should get rich off of it, it's us, because you can look and see that we're overly targeted for a lot of these arrests and petty offenses. And now, because someone said it's legal, all of a sudden it's, it's people that are not of our color making money out of it. And I just think if I'm going to do it, it's my responsibility to help and share with as many people as well, if you wanted to get a few. So I'm going to go into like what I purchased, but like if you only had $500, what I would suggest you do as well. I am not like certified. This is just Lisa's opinion. I'm pretty good at making money. It's literally a spiritual gift. So you don't have to listen. I think it's good, and use your best judgment. And so let me see if I have any questions on going on. So yeah, this isn't real estate. This is stock investing, marijuana stock specifically. And I want to go over everything I've learned and researched. So let me just go to Facebook. I see Kay, D. Ray, Everett, Mashika, Walter, Kara, Johnny, Joe, Carolyn, Calvin, Michelle. Hey, Michelle. Justin, Thomas, Regina have joined. I'm not an expert. At the end on my Facebook page, I'll tag some people who I am connected with who teach this and have retired from it for a living. If maybe you guys want to reach out, and I'll just ask them, hey, did I get this right? Did I miss something? And their name is Tila Holcomb and their name Alanya Kohlberg too. So yeah, so that's what we're doing today. Let me see, YouTube. Thank you, Sheila. All the stocks dropped Christmas Eve. That is true. Cashmatic, Jay Morrison Massey, right? Jay Massey? He just commented that all the stocks dropped Christmas Eve. That is a tactic so that if you have a loss on any of your stocks, you sell them. And then if you sell them and have a loss, you get to claim that on your taxes. And I think you have to wait 30 days until you buy the new stock again. They want to like age it a little bit, and then you just buy your stock and hope it doesn't go too bad. So let's go over marijuana stocks and why I'm investing. And if you guys want to do it, I just want to give you some of my research I've done and my thoughts. So I already explained, I think investing in marijuana stocks is the same as investing in the railroad. I mean, people are already making money, and it's just going to scale. I hope I don't get too discombobulated because there's so much information I have about this. But let's start at the beginning. So just recently, I don't know, the last year or so, the only companies really that are on the American Stock Exchange are Canadian marijuana companies. Outside of that, you can watch I watch the documentaries, you can read the reports. Outside of that, that retail marijuana not only is sweeping across the country, first it started in one state, now I think it's 17 states, but everywhere I live personally, I'm seeing these dispensaries show up where retail is 40, I mean, they pay $100,000 in taxes. That doesn't even tell you like what they're making every single month, and these are just mom and pop stores and operations. Warehouses are going up everywhere to grow them. I had some random land out in Colorado because at some point I was going to go out there and build a yurt when I was in my like real rough it stage. I did not, but I know I've in the last year I've gotten inquiries because people are going to that cheap land out in Colorado, and they're wanting to buy in Castilla County, which is mostly desert, but it's the cheapest land you can get in Colorado. And so that sort of clued me in 2 years ago when I got 4 or 5 inquiries for those 5 acres that was off a main road that, oh, okay, this is growing and infrastructure is being built around it. So I think that's why I'm more inclined than others, just because I have property and I heard about all the other properties in that area going, because it is an isolated place where they could do bigger grow farms, but they can secure it more better because it's not in the middle of a population. So I think that sort of started it all, but it was just in the back of my mind. But I knew, wow, marijuana infrastructure is being grown, and that land I bought for $2,000 is now worth $6,000 finally after like 9 years, right? Like land is not necessarily the best investment, right? So that was in the back of my mind. New Year's Eve, I told you guys, I woke up and it was all about 6:30 in the morning. It was like marijuana stocks, so look into it. So Canada, so I'm like, okay, what stocks can I buy? What's available? I find out Canada legalized it federally for medicinal purposes in 2001. So that means over the last 16 years, there have been industries and leaders being developed in Canada. And what happened over the last year or so, some of those Canadian marijuana stocks are now on the American NASDAQ and stock exchange. Not all of them. Some are on the gray market. Some are on the OTC, which is over the counter. I'll explain that a little bit. It's not on the exchange yet, but you can still buy the shares. You just have to, I think it's literally those people who are yelling on the stock floor, like you go and get it from them, but it executed like really quickly. So it wasn't like it took 5 days for them to put my order in. It was like the next day, but it's a little bit more interesting. And then some are on the gray market, which is like you can still get shares, but you don't have as much protections. Well, you don't have protections anyways, but I'm not the expert, okay? But they're finally available. So no American stocks that I knew of or saw was out there yet. And so this is why I really wanted to jump on it and share it with as many people as possible. So for the last 18 years or 17 years, Canada has a growing industry. And some of these stocks I'm going to show you they're not all winners. Some are some losers. But the fact remains they're all profitable. They're all bringing anywhere from, conservatively on some of the smaller stocks, like 500,000 a month in income, and on the bigger ones it's 10 million a month, right? But they're still very profitable. And with them just legalizing recreational use in Canada on the federal level 4 months ago, all of a sudden they're set to explode. And all of these companies not only have been making partnerships, so they're investing heavily. Okay, someone invested with Anheuser-Busch for distribution of a CBD-based infused drink. People are investing with this. I mean, all Pharmaceuticals, GlaxoSmithKline, everyone is all over marijuana. Every single pharmaceutical has like a wing developed towards it because we all know it works. And a lot of the ones that I'm going to talk to now are even going, okay, Singapore, the UK, that are offering that are now legalizing it for medicinal use. The Canadian companies are already trying to make trade agreements so that they can ship it over there. So what I wanted to say with that is that, okay, when I looked at them, the stocks were relatively cheap too. They were $3, $4, $5, and some had experienced a pullback. But I was like, yes, okay, finally stocks I can afford to invest in more than like 3, right? Because you don't have much money. You can get 3 stocks at $72 this month, and maybe you get some a little bit more. But I was like, these are $3 and $5? Are you kidding me? And it's marijuana, and these companies have been like, since 2001, have been maturing their industry. They're on our stock market to raise more money. They are profitable, and so I'm going to go into the different ways I am personally investing, so not to take too long. That's just my background on why I'm doing this, where this came from, why I was struck with inspiration, and all of it sort of building up to, heck yeah, this is profitable, and I can actually afford shares in this for these companies. Awesome and timely. Thank you, Dee. So I'm just going to look before I go into the different types of ways you can invest in stocks in the marijuana industry that I found, and and then tell you what ways I'm doing and what I'm focusing on and why. And also, I do mostly real estate investing, but my things with stocks, like I did cryptocurrency as well, I'm always going to be a fan of like what's new, right? Like, so if it's like there's this new thing, or it's like cars that are self-driving, and I think that's going to be the future, like I want to get in on those stocks early, right? I mean, that's everyone's goal, but sometimes people hear that, like, here marijuana stocks are here, but they're not jumping on it, right? And that would be the only stocks I would jump on versus like the older established ones, which are great, right? Like Google, I don't think is going anywhere. I have like 1 or 2 Amazon, but that was a little bit later. So this is one. So I always like the ones that are new and the new industries, just because you can get it at such a low price. So I don't know. I would like for everyone to take the time, if they know about a new industry coming up, that's the time to take $200 to $500 and invest in it. I don't care what industry it is, but if it's like, I think someone just like gave birth, like someone cloned a lamb and they put it in an incubator, so the lamb was fully formed and fed in like a uterine replicator and not in like the actual animal. Like, that's technology I would be more interested in, because you can just intuitively tell that that's the future. So I don't know, it's just something for everyone to like always keep in mind, because there's ways to make money, but sometimes we let it bypass. But new and future are things that sort of resonate with me. And Jay, if you have anything to say, because I know you do this for a living, please let me know if I get anything off or wrong. Be nice about it. I don't need anyone yelling at me on my live stream, but like if you have something to offer, please do, because I know you do this pretty intensely as well. And so you're someone that people can reach out to for more information. Okay, so let me switch on over to my home screen. Is that right in the way? Let me get this down. So as you can see, it's a sea of green. Now don't get me wrong, yesterday it was a sea of red, right? So, but right now you're getting these stocks at these $4 and $5 things, and I just want you guys, even if it's $500, to start investing, and every single month add like 100 to it, but specifically for one industry. I know sometimes everyone's like, oh, like you need all this technical analysis. But there was one piece of advice that they try to debunk, but it was right, and it's been right for a long time. It's like, do things right? Like, we know marijuana makes money. And there's some stocks I won't do. I won't do anything on opioids because I just don't agree with the ethical. I think some of these these doctors are just the same as drug dealers on the corner, right? Like, they're pushing it on people. So I'm not investing in that just because I can, even though I know opioid addiction is on the rise and is lucrative. Like, just ethically, I'm just not going to do that. And I was going to Subsist. There was a company that also is doing marijuana, and then I remembered, because I watched them on American Greed, they were doling out like candy these fentanyl opioid pain reliever medications that were only for cancer victims, but they were encouraging all their doctors to give to everyone, and caused a huge spike of opioid addictions themselves. So I'm just saying, be ethical. Like, I'm not doing any drug. I'm specifically doing marijuana because it's relatively benign, in my opinion. And what's my experience with weed? I mean, I only smoked it once, but that doesn't mean I can't invoke. Then I got really paranoid, so I was like, I can't do this. Kept thinking I was going to get caught. So I don't do it. Like, I just did it that once and not anymore. But, like, everyone I know who does do it are fine with it, and it's just a mature industry. So there's different ways that you can invest in stocks at different aspects of the game. So as you can see here, you can do growers, people with the warehouses, and you'll see some of my stocks have a combination of some or all of these, and we'll talk about some of those companies as well. So growers who are growing the places, the people who are in Castilla County, Colorado, asking me about my land, distribution, the people who are, getting it in the dispensaries, extraction, and so there's this thing called terpenes that they're used for CBD, cannabinoid, I don't know, look up CBD, right? It's like this long word, but it is, the extraction companies are taking the terpenes, which are the major factors for them to put in different aspects for medicinal uses. I know a lot is for pain relief, but they also have some for epilepsy and seizures, which I actually think I invested in one of those companies because they actually got FDA approval for that reason. Like, it passed all the clinical trials. So CBD oil is legit. It's working our way through trials. It's getting approved as recommended as an alternative to opioids, which are heavily addictive. Like, we should all give companies like that a round of applause because it's time. Drug makers, although this is basically pharmaceuticals. Can you guys see this page? Let me know if you can. Hey, Sheila, I'll give you the tickers as I go along, okay? Let me see. Hey, thank you for that, Sean and Park EMC. Thank you. All right, so this is all good. I hope it's something you're interested in, that I'm not just throwing stuff at you. Like I said, I just see so much opportunity. I got to share this with my people, right? Like, I don't get paid for this, but I think it's important. And I think if we put some money down, every month, we could be the ones profiting. So I would like you to share this as far as, right, if you get value out of it, if it makes sense, and you think it could help someone, even if you start with like $200, right? That's fine. Oh, you guys can see everything, huh? I haven't clicked away. All right, so let's go back. You can go to drug makers and pharmaceuticals. I will tell you guys, I know pharmaceuticals can be some of the cheapest stocks in the world. They could be like 15 cents. And I'm all over that. But I also lost a lot of money because they're very risky. They might be like, oh, we're in, trials for this and that. And then none of them make it to trial, or they go bust, or they go defunct. So drug makers are there. So if it's not like a well-known one, just know they will be cheap. Put $100 on it and get 300 shares or something, or 400 or 500. Call it a day. It may or may not work. Or put $50 on it and call it a day, right? There's literally an industry of people who package these marijuana cookies and crackers and this and that, and I also notice people in the packaging also do things for vaping, like vape pens, vape rubbers, vape guns, whatever they're called. So that was interesting. I actually like that because they're diversified in nicotine and marijuana. I don't do nicotine, but you know, I'm not about to shame anyone who does. We've been saying don't smoke for years. You're still going to do it. I'm cool. It's not my life. Retail dispensaries, ETS and index. All right. So you can go anywhere that you feel more comfortable with. I didn't want to stick with growers. Well, just a little bit. Some of the companies I did had a grow facility. That wasn't what I was really. That's the wholesale aspect. And the reason I wasn't as drawn to that just seemed sort of like manufacturing, where it's just like sometimes when you have a commodity, it gets tighter and tighter, and manufacturing plants don't make like high profit, but they do make money because they make the stuff that everyone buys. But for me, my initial instinct's like, no, let's not go with the growers. They're going to be there, but then in order to be more competitive, they might start dropping prices, and that's how they usually compete in the wholesale distribution, a wholesale like grower type feel. That was just personal. You do you, right? Distribution, I didn't really feel drawn to that. I was really actually in the extraction part, packaging, and retail dispensaries. Those are the ones, because I know these are making money. As long as you get your permits. I even called my, I have a brother-in-law who likes to farm. I was like, dude, you got to get on this. We got to do a family business. So these are making money. Extraction for the CBD oil. Now, those are the companies I was also looking at as well, because they were like the infrastructure. They were like, yeah, we take it out. You know, that's where a lot of the money in the markups come from for the CBD-based arena. So there's marijuana just to smoke, but then there's CBD, which is extracted from hemp and marijuana to do for medicinal uses. That's going to be exploding as well. Now, they also, in the Farm Bill on December 13th or 18th, so like 3 weeks ago, they just went ahead and they just passed a Farm Bill. They signed it where hemp is legal. And hemp is also, so the ramifications of that is that farmers, if they wanted to farm hemp, they can go ahead and do that. They can get insurance on their crops, right? So they're not as lost if their crops go. And that can also be used for CBD oil. So this was really big as well, because there is a whole long line of the farmers across the country who are waiting to be able to do it legally. And get insurance by it, so it could be a legitimate operation for the CBD. So we might have to get to a point where we have to tell farmers to not just do hemp, like you got to do food too, even though it's more profitable. So I'm sure that conversation is going to come up at some point, right? And so that is sort of what I did. Any questions before I go on to like the actual stocks that I found and why? I just wrote a few notes on why, so this will go a little faster. So let me switch on over and see any questions. Thank you. You got it, Sheila. All right. Facebook, y'all cool. All right. Let me see. Hey, Papi. That's good, too. All right. No questions? Y'all good? Y'all want to hear more? Let me know. Like this comment, too, because YouTube needs to know we're talking about something that could actually make us money. I guess, and I said, okay. All right. Let me go on and go to stocks I actually invested with. I'm going to give you 2 views of these. So, here are the stocks. I'm going to go over these all individually. This is just on my document, but I actually was having so much fun finding out about these companies. So let's go one by one. It might look a little boring. These are actually what I bought and how many shares I bought, but y'all don't need to know my business, right? So what is going on, what these makers are, why I purchased them. There's quite a few. I can go faster. If you have a question after each one, I'll look and see if there's any questions. Other than that, I'm just going to go down. You tell me what you think at the end of again. So Aurora Cannabis is, so these are some of my notes, but I'm going to tell you, this is one of the leaders in Canada. It's profitable in their business. Now, you can go to each individual page. I didn't put that down because I didn't want this to be a 4-hour long stock trading investment. And I'll just open these up as I go along. So these are one of the leaders. You cannot go anywhere without seeing Aurora Cannabis, Afria, CanTrust Holding, and even this one and American Health Therapeutics, Canobie Growth Group, and Kronos Group. So if you do top 10 marijuana stocks, you're not going anywhere without seeing these, right? And there's so you definitely should have a level of presence or holdings with these, just because I mean, they're just the leaders. They're profitable, they're big, they're doing partnerships with all over the place to extend their reach, and they are doing really well. So this one's $5. I think I purchased at like $5. And gosh, I guess I'm just going to tell you a little bit more. We can go over, and then as I remember, I'll go ahead and do this. Do we have a question? Oh, you're waving at me. See? Might get unfriended for that. Thanks, Tony. He said, great information about the CBD oil. Okay, let me go back. Now, yeah, I guess I can't tell you everything about it. Like, honestly, I forgot a little bit since I did all the research. But this is one of the major players. It was $5. You can go and look at it. It was profitable every single month. Now, I think this one also had expenses. And the one note that I put was that it trades at 228 times its sell price, which can be an indicator that it's over leveraged. But let me tell you about all these stocks. There was an extreme pullback on all marijuana stocks 4 months ago. So I don't know why, but all these were at like, this was 10, this was 20, whatever, and then they pulled back. Now, why would I go to a company that pulled back? Because they're still making money, they're still doing partnerships, and they're still profitable. And if you look at their balance sheets and you look at their earning reports, I'll just show you how I sort of do it, where it's general, where it's, I of course go to revenue. And if I can't find it here, I'll go ACB earnings report, earnings. So this is what I do. I just Google it. I think Yahoo Finance is what I usually find, that they actually have like the submitted earning financials and earning reports. So basically, I look for something that is making money and it's not extremely. So it might show a negative, right? And so there's certain ways that you can look at it. Personally, I know a lot of companies are unprofitable, especially when they expense everything. So it's up to you if you see a net negative and go, you know what, they're investing heavily and they're not profitable. I want to wait until they're profitable. However, sometimes at that point, they're not $5 a share, right? So for me, I'll take something that's showing a loss as long as it's showing consistent growing, revenue, right? Every single time I look up. So if you look at this first year in 2016, and then here, and then here you go, 55 million, right? For the total revenue for the year. You get 1.4 to 18 to 55. So yes, they do have a loss, but for me to show a company that's growing year over year, I just look at this. These are just more investments into the business. So I will be okay. So I look at the earnings. I make sure that they are showing, and this is exponential growth, right? Like 1.5 to 18 to 55. And you know what I mean? Like, this is 1 year's growth. Like, so what's next year going to be 200? So that's sort of how I look at it. You can go as deep as you want to, but a lot of us just don't. We're not analysts. You can go and see what the analyst said. There's like people whose whole job is to analyze this and tell you whether it's buy, sell, or hold. I don't got time for that. This is just how I do it. It makes it easy. And if you don't want to do it, if they have a negative, that's fine. But I will tell you, most of them at this stage do show a loss. But when you read up on the information behind every single one, you see, okay, they're investing in this infrastructure process. They just purchased another acquisition to shore up a lot of the Canadian-based companies are trying to be, so they might have started as dispensary, but then they went and purchased a grow house because they want to be grow house to dispensary to, grow house. They want to do packaging, and they're trying to be one-stop shop. So if you read up on the news, you'll see what are this money is going for. And if you see a lot of investments, but they're still profitable, I'm okay with waiting that out into the long term because it's very clear what they're trying to do. It's very clear what they're trying to do and why they are, why they are at a loss for that years, but their revenue is growing year over year in. So I'm okay with that. So you let me know if you're different, but that's where I'm at with that. And I'm going to keep going around the other ones and try not to take too long. Anything for Okay. Periscope. We got a few people on Periscope. All right. All right. So let's go on to the next one. I hope this doesn't get too boring. So if, let me know, before we go on, let me know, do you want me to just go really fast through all of these, or like sort of take time to go through each one, open it up, tell you what I liked about it? So tell me right now, because I really don't know what you guys are into. Do you want it quick and fast? Or do you want it a little bit more detailed? And I'm not going to go forward until you guys tell me what you want. You can see me clicking. Hey, Cynthia, Toy, Monique, Manuela. Tell me if you want me to go that detailed or just quick and fast to go through it. I love the thumbs up, but I don't know if that means you want me to go quick and fast or you want me to go more detailed. Like how, just sort of open them up so you can see what we're doing. Okay, take your time. All right. Anyone else? Tony on YouTube said, whatever works for you. We're good. Sheila said, take your time. Tony said, detailed. What are we doing with Facebook? Y'all got new opinions? Okay, I'll keep going the way I am. Let me know if there's anything going. Okay, open up a few, and then Gabe was like, go more deep. Okay, so I'll do this sort of the same way I have been doing, and this is just my thoughts. You can do what you want. I'm just giving you my perspective from business, just my experience on what's going on and what I was reading. But I'll probably go a little bit deeper. Some of them I won't go as deep, but the major players I have to go deep, or else I'm not going to do you as much of a service, right? All right, so let's go on to the next one. Let me switch back over. The next one is Afria. You can't hear anything about marijuana stocks without Aurora and Afria. And stocks are like the legal way to do it without having to get your hands dirty. And these prices are so low. Most of these are like under $1, $4, $5. Some are high, right? 72. I got a few of those. Some of these are a little bit more, right? But they're still at a cheap enough price where you can get in and start accumulating, what is it called? Your dollar cost averaging every single month, buying some and shoring up your space. So let's go to the next. Afria was a major leader. You can't go to any article about marijuana stocks without these Canadian companies showing up. So I went to them. It was AFA. This one was pretty good. Oh, this one had a problem. Okay. Okay, so they pulled back heavily on the price. They had a high that was pretty up there when I last checked, but it pulled back pretty drastically because they're being sued. There were some allegations. Yeah, see a high of 15. Now they're here at 5. Now, there were some allegations. They were doing a very heavy acquisition strategy, okay? So they were just buying, and I should know how to switch the screen without showing this one. They were just buying up all these different companies, and some investors sued because they're like, you just bought this company from a friend with the money you raised from us buying the stock, and it has absolutely nothing to do with what you're trying to do in your business. So there was a smoking gun article. So there's some drama, right? There's a smoking gun article about a year ago about, hey, all these acquisitions, these are just cronies of theirs. I think these are shell companies. So it looks like, I don't know. I mean, they haven't gone to court yet. The class action lawsuit is coming. And on one hand, you don't want to buy into a company that's showing that sort of shenanigans because you see all these companies you invest a lot of money in, and then all of a sudden they go up in flames and the CEOs are rich and you're holding worthless stock that you put a significant portion of your savings in. So in general, I'm not about that life. I looked closer. It looked like after all this said and done, they're a lot more transparent and clear. They're no longer engaged in those acts. And they know they are being watched and they have a track record, but they are, it seems to me, now on the straight and narrow, and they're still profitable. So I was okay with purchasing Afria, in Canada. It was also not as over leveraged. As you see, it's 27 times sales versus 228. But huge revenues and sales, and they're expanding towards international operations. So all these Canadian companies, because they're ahead of the game by 17 years. Okay, so we're going to be yay Canada. Canada is going to be shipping to us because they're going to have the ability to ship to us because they have the infrastructure they've been growing. Canada's going hard on marijuana. They are a Western country. It is, I mean, I'm sure you can go wrong, but for me right now, I don't think you can go wrong. The whole nation is behind it, federally, for both recreational and medicinal. They're like, we're making way too much money off of marijuana. We can go overseas. Let's 4 months ago, they're like, we're legalizing all of it, okay? So Canada as a country is betting on this. And you know that they have a lot of lobbyists who are like, you know what? Herb isn't a drug, right? So it doesn't have that much of a stigma, and the whole country is united behind it. And I know is in part because of how successful they were and how much money it's bringing in revenue, and the fact that they're going overseas is why I would still give this a chance. I think I bought this at $6 or $5. But yeah, if I always go just a brief glance at their earnings report just to make sure. These are numbers in the thousands, so 8 million. So it went 8 to 20 to 36. So we're showing year-over-year growth. Losses are not as heavy as the other ones. And I think when I looked that they were pretty much, well established and making deals. So you can just do a search for like Afria and just see what they're doing. They're in the news. Motley Fool's a really good site. Dude, I do half my analysis. Those people, I mean, who's this? Sean Williams. They're all about this. They just do very thoughtful articles on listing everything. You can go into details, but I think I went with this one because they were doing so many deals with other companies. So not only were they profitable, but expanding. But they were doing a lot of deals, which were really, that affiliate marketing type deal. I mean, that's where you really get the exposure and keep your money coming because you're getting introduced to new markets. So that's why I did AFA, and I was comfortable with going with them because I saw the growth. No, they were not profitable, but I mean, they showed less losses than the others, and they're still a major player in the Canadian industry. So I'm going to go and see, does anyone have any questions? Okay, y'all good? All right, I'm going to keep going. Okay, let's keep going. So third one was Hexo Corp. So I think this one, when I looked, was like was pure grower and not. You gotta remember, sometimes you do the research and just mark it down, and you sort of forget. What did I read about this? All my information exclusively from Motley Fool. I think this one was more heavily into CBD oil and doing very well. And this is why we're investing. $100 billion in the next 10 to 15 years. Get in on this train. This is a 10 to 15 year hold. Oh yeah, this is the online company. Yeah, okay, I forgot. So I'm not going to go into like each company because I sort of forgot which each one was doing, but it was marijuana related. I think that they were pharmaceutical or CBD based, but they were also profitable year after year. So I'm not going to go into, I think you guys get how you can look at the earning reports and make your own decision on if you want to invest in this company. The growth has been sort of stable, not the biggest growth, but they are still there. Really heavy losses here as they were investing in all the different partnerships, right? So I just got a few stocks in that, not as much because I didn't like how they weren't as profitable as these first two, which showed astronomical growth, right? So, but I did like that they had partnership with Coors drink for a CBD infused like beer or something. Right? Coors, right? Coors Light. And I don't think they're. I don't think they're exclusive agreements, but 4 provinces have given them the okay. What you're going to learn in this marijuana is all about getting your permits. Like, that's a badge of honor if you get your permits approved, because so many people don't get it. So that's why I liked them. I liked that they were with a major brand, in that they were going into the beer and CBD mix. I thought that that's going to have a big market that is going to be worth it. You have CanTrust Holding. This one was great. If you did anything, this one doesn't have the shenanigans of this one. It's not overpriced like this one. It's steady. It's an award winner. It's stable. This would be something that I would, if I were you, this was like one of my more stable ones that I liked for all reasons. If you want me to go anything in particular, just let me know. Organigrams. Now, Namaste Technologies. This was actually an online retailer. So I purchased this because I'm in the online space. I think about 5 years ago, more than half. I think 5 years ago, more than half of all sales of anything was online. That was 5 years ago. So I'm going to be anything that's online retailer, because we know that works. It scales. You can have a global marketplace. You can ship everywhere. So if you're going to be 61 cents and go globally, like, put $100 towards it, right? Like, get 61 shares and just sit on it for 10 years. So that's sort of how I'm thinking about this. Like, let me get out. Now, you can go and look at their individual stock ticker, look at their earnings, seeing how they're doing, see if there's any news about any lawsuits or articles. But for the most part, these are just making common sense, because we've been in this space long enough to know how this works. Or at least me, like building an online business, investing in it and just understanding how this works, so that you can clearly see what this company is doing and relate to it and see where you want to go. So yes, they want to be an online retailer. They're doing it legally, and they're going through all the routes, and I think they want a global marketplace. So that's why I really liked them. They were the only ones I saw that were on the stock market that were actually available to, available to invest with. And so they're going hard on their online infrastructure, and I'm all day with that. Okay, Organigrams Holding. Now, they are wonderful. Now, I am one of those people who go to Whole Paycheck or Whole Foods, and I'm like, I want organic chicken. Okay, like, we don't need to be eating all those pesticides. Our body can deal with it, but that doesn't mean that you need to add abuse to it. So I try as much as possible. So this is certified organic cannabis, which I think is absolutely amazing. And they're going into the CBD part for medical use. From last time I saw, they have partnerships. They have steady revenue. All the ones that I have like steady revenue. And let me see how many stocks of that one I got. Organigrams, 90. Yeah, I got like 90 shares. It was like, with the commission, yeah, $290, like $300. But yeah, I mean, CBD is working. It's going through trials. Like, you just can't, I don't think you could go wrong investing at the early stage in any of these with CBD that is actually proving to have huge medicinal uses. I don't think you can go where, and it's not just with the pain. It's with other things as well. So yeah, that's why I went with them. So Emerald Health Therapeutics, I think that they were going into CBD as well, and they have been buying a lot of sun farms and grower facilities. So I just really like that they were stable as well, and they were investing in being like the leader and having the most grow farms. Canobie Growth Group. Gosh, I haven't looked at that one. I've had that one for quite some time, not just when I had this like epiphany and like when I went deep into it. What's Canopy Growth? I think it had like dispensaries. I think it was trying to be one-stop shop. So you're not going to look at any article that doesn't have Canopy Growth Group. They operate 10 licensed cannabis production sites. All right, so where they grow it. 4 Tweed, they call it Tweed Main Street locations in Ontario, and has operations in 11 countries across 5 continents. Hey, can't go wrong, all right? When you see dispensaries, All that means is money. You see dispensaries and it's licensed, money. Period. That's as far as you need to go. Do I need to go deeper? Now, of course, you can go check their financials. I just showed you. I think Yahoo is the best one for it because it really shows the earnings every year as reported. And the earnings statement. Now, it's a very difficult statement to read. I just sort of generally look at revenue. Is it growing? See what kind of net losses they have. I just as the regular person, you just don't have time to go that deep. But I've been pretty successful doing this, so I'm okay with showing other people. At least this is a start. You can take it as deep as you want. So I'm gonna go over and see if anyone has any questions. Oh, you guys couldn't see my screen. You can see it now. Any questions? Are you investing in private companies also? No, right. Although I would, if are you investing in private companies? If someone approached me and was like, "We need 20,000, and you can be an investor," I'd probably see if I could scrape the money together. If I well, maybe. I'd at least consider it and read their demographics. But I've invested privately with some people and have nothing to show for it. So those are risky. But right now I'm just going with the companies that have made the effort. And most of them have been Canadian. All of them have been Canadian. And they are making the efforts to get and raise money by putting their stocks on the American Stock Exchange. Most of these are on the Toronto Stock Exchange, but open up to the American market to make more money. Facebook, any questions? I don't see any comments. All right, cool. Let's keep going. All right, so we have Kronos Group. You can't look at any site about marijuana stocks without seeing Kronos. Oh, did I skip? Yeah. So these are the ones that were like in 11 countries, 5 tweed dispensaries in Ontario, as well as grower facilities. Amazing. $27. So of course it doesn't go as far as this one, but still good. Kronos Group was good as well. You can't hear about it without... So this one, what were my notes on this one? Why did I do this one? I put stockpile. FYI, stockpile is if you want to buy a fraction of a share at really cheap. I think if you put cash in the account, you only pay $1 for each trade. So it's really cheap. Stockpile is what I use. So that's why I put stockpile, because I wasn't going to buy any new stuff because I already had some holdings in stockpile. So just go to stockpile.com. Yeah, this was good. This got me back into investing again because I can invest in a quarter share of X, Y, and Z. So yeah, 99-cent trades, fractional shares of thousands. Pretty much most of the stocks that I want, except these. If I don't have stockpile, that means I just couldn't get it there. But stockpile is my first choice because it's $1. I use E-Trade only because I used to belong to Option House, which was $5 a trade. But E-Trade purchased Option House maybe like a year or something ago. So now I use E-Trade. It's like $6, $7 a trade. So, use whatever you want. So... Cron was, let me look up Cron. I forgot exactly what Kronos Group was. Ultra is also a big player in the cannabis industry as well. I remember I saw that. What was that? Sometimes these articles are so technical. You're like, what was the summary for the company? I forget. Someone knows, chime in. What's Kronos? Everyone talks about Kronos. I think this one was trying to be from grower to end. Okay, so it says right here. Can you guys see that? The main words are integrated cannabis group that operates within Health Canada's access to cannabis for medical purposes regulations and distributes worldwide. I think this was one of the ones that was like trying to lay down in other countries that are now in other countries that are now starting to go. They're all over the international and getting agreements. Cultivate and sell. Yeah, I think this was one-stop shop. CBD oil. It looks like cultivating and selling marijuana. And then they have a medical wing as well. They are all over marijuana and growing and selling and cannabis oil and medicinal purposes. So yeah, pretty much a leader year over year. So that's another stock. If you buy any, buy some of these. Even if you buy 10 and just buy like one or, some every so often, you won't do wrong. Now, GW Pharmaceuticals, they've been around for some time, but they got into marijuana, and I think they just had the first, can you guys see my screen? Yeah. I think they just had the first FDA-approved CBD oil come on, the CBD product, that is shown it will decrease epileptic seizures 50%. Yeah, it was epilepsy drug using marijuana derivative for the first time. Yeah, I think it had a noticeable 50% decrease. Like on one hand, I'm just like, wow, that's just amazing technology. Like that's just cool that like you maybe you have them 4 times a year, now you're down to 2, and it's CBD and it's not a heavy like painkiller or type of drug that really makes you cloudy and fuzzy. Like I'm a healer at heart, right? So like I love that like CBD is healing people at a base fundamental level, which is why I don't mind it, but without all the effects that you get from other drugs that they put on the market that are so far away from the natural solution. So this is just extraction of the terpenes, right? So that's why I went. So they've already established, but they went into this and they won. This is sort of a big deal. So, right? So that's why I was really liking GW. They're a little bit more expensive, right? They are $98. They've been holding steady. I've had it for a few weeks now, and I don't think I've seen it go up or down too much. But that's another one. So get it if you want. Maybe if you have like 1 or 2 stocks, it's one of the more pricier ones compared to these that are $3, $4, and $5. But would I want you to diversify a little bit into it? Yes, if you can. All right, so let's go on to the next. So Earth Science. Now this is, when you get to these are like pharmaceuticals, right? Well, except for this one. This is super, super, super undervalued. But when you get to Earth Science Tech, this one actually just got approved for, and let me just say about pharmaceuticals, like back in the day, I was all about them, and I lost money. So if you look at my E-Trade portfolio, all the reds were like pharmaceuticals I purchased maybe like 3-4 years ago, and then they like tanked even though they were cheap. And now it costs more money for me to sell it than to like keep it. So now I just keep it because so pharmaceuticals are cheap but risky, and they don't always make it. A large percentage of them goes bust. So if you still want to diversify in the CBD market, those to me have been more proven and are gaining traction. I'd have more faith in them. Just put a little bit and don't go overboard, okay? That's what I would say to that. Can you guys see my screen? You can. So that's what. So Hygiene Home STD is like you can buy an over-the-counter like chlamydia and gonorrhea test, and they just got that. So that wasn't about cannabis. That was just like a separate branch that they had and they already had going and they invested in. But they're also taking money and investing into cannabis divisions. They have had 2 dual listing attempts, so I think they tried to get onto the exchange before and it didn't work, but they finally got on. You got to love that persistence, and they're like, we just need money to raise the funds and go hard on the cannabis divisions. And so risky, right? Established in one part, but not necessarily in cannabis, but they're in trying to grow, so you make your best bet. It's 87 cents. What if you buy 50 shares for $44 plus a $7 trade fee, right? Just to be diversified and hold on for the next 5 years and see, is it still worth 80 cents? Is it worth 3? Is it worth 20? Right? I think it's worth at this, I think it's worth just a little bit of diversification into something like that. I think it's riskier than the others. Now this one, TRTC, I actually went a little bit big on this one just because it was funny. They got 100% permitting. They have 6 dispensaries in New Jersey and a New Jersey grow house that they got the green light on, and they're just going to be expanding. So they are located based out of here, and some of these have some Canadian, some California companies. Some of these Canadian companies are going down here to establish these places because it's such a mature industry. Mature industry, and yeah, some of these are a mature industry in Canada. They're coming and they're buying in California, New Jersey, and Nevada where it's legal, right? So they're coming down here. They're like, oh, there's more money to be made. So yeah, this TRTC, Terra Tech Corp, I like them. It was 6 dispensaries and a grow house. And when you say dispensaries, as long as they are legitimate, they are making bank. So they're completely 100, 200%. 500% profitable, right? So this place is going to make it. The only time you'll really see negatives if they are buying other, dispensaries, but that will grow for itself. So this is one when I went I went big in that one. I think, how many did I buy? I bought 600. 600 was like $267 because I believe in cash. And when you see dispensaries, that's cash at the end of the day. So we also here have the CVSI, CV Sciences for $3.99. They are all over the cannabidiol medical products. They have been good. And Cara Therapeutics, I like them because their mission, they're targeting chronic pain with CBD alternatives specifically to combat the opioid epidemic. I love them because they're specifically saying we do not like what we're seeing. And I've just seen, I don't like it just because I've seen so many so many people addicted. I know I've seen babies being born and they have the withdrawal symptoms because their parents can't get off of it. It is an ugly thing to see, and I know a lot of you guys probably don't see it, but if you do, you'd understand that it's pretty serious and they can't get off. So I love the fact that they're doing that. They're $12, which is more than the others, but sometimes when you believe in someone's mission that is bigger, I don't know, I really believe in the mission, so I put money towards them just because I believe in what they're trying to do. And they're very specific, like, no, we want to be the pain alternative. And I just know a lot of people don't want to do opioids or painkillers and morphine or whatever for their pain because they've seen what's happening around them. It's been like 20 years of this epidemic where these doctors who are legal drug dealers are pushing it on people. So that's what we have with that. So let me just look around and see if there's any questions. Today 108, was that for GW? Oh, all the ones made money since I paid for it. That's why I wanted to get this out as soon as possible, which is why it's not super professional. It's like I just wanted to get it out because they're going. And even if you just do a little bit. What do you think about Robinhood app free trades? Oh, I haven't heard of it, but I'll look it up. I'm all about free trades. Anything on Facebook? Any questions? No? Okay. Nah, they booked it on Periscope. They're like, I'm not staying for this. Alright, they're almost done though. Okay, so let me just finish these. These are extraction companies, Canna Royalty. They're a steady producer acquiring dispensaries. If I see dispensaries, I'm like, hey, I like money because those are making the money. That's where so much of that high, they get the product for $5, they're selling it for $80. I mean, or, it's just really, or they're like putting it into like pot brownies and selling each brownie for $6, even though it costs them like 20 cents to make. Like the profit margins are extreme. So that's why I like this one, kind of royalty. You have Kush bottles. They are products from krill to Kush. They were an established company that was doing krill oil as a supplement. And they're actually sold the krill oil, and they're going all in marijuana. which I thought was interesting. And they also are in vapes. So they do the vape tubes, vaporizer cartridges, and they're the people that supply that sort of manufacturing. I wouldn't go super heavy in it because manufacturing doesn't necessarily scale well when you're like making the products. Those are just such a set. You get like a set profit, whereas if you're this dispensary, you can put like one, ounce of weed into this, into this, into this, into this, and get, up to 50 times what you paid for it, right? But with manufacturing of products, it's very step. Now you're going to be stable. Like, I don't imagine them losing money. It's going to be a very stable growth, but it's going to be slow. And, so that's just what it was. So I'd get in on it, but not super heavily. Oh shoot, that was Neptune that was Krill to Crush. I'm so sorry about that. A few B2B partnerships with big players. I forget what they were, but they were like Anheuser-Busch. Like, they were big. And they're going to get this. And Kush Bottle was the vaporizer tools and cartridges. Sorry about that. I wasn't paying attention to my own notes. Quadrin. They're actually getting into extraction technology, so more of the manufacturing type, steady but not big growth. But they do 61% of their sales are vape pens. I don't know. Nicotine is the same as marijuana. You just really can't go wrong investing. And it's $1.25. How many did I get of that? So like, is it like? I did. I spent like $81 to get 600 shares just because I can and to hold off. I like the fact that they're in vapes and that 61% of sales because I know that can stay completely stable while they expand their cannabis technology company. So that's why I did that. It's because they're already stably and then making money. Radiant Technologies, they're into cannabinoid food additives. I got a few of those, not a lot. And Tilray. This was the first pot stock IPO. Anheuser Novartis is pharmaceutical. Anheuser-Busch drinking company. I really like Tilray, but it's really expensive, so I didn't buy that many. So do what you want. These are a lot easier to buy sometimes because they're $4 or $5. This one's not so much, but I do have a position in them. And then you have the ETFs I'll finish with. You have Cannabis Index, MJ, cute marijuana. Mary Jane, MJ, $23.05. So usually with ETFs, they are a company that actually like holds like a portfolio of different items, and as the portfolio goes up and down, you sort of follow it, or they own the items themselves. And these were just the two that were out there. I didn't go heavy with them. I'm not really into ETFs, but I know you can make money off of them. Just don't go heavy because, they can fall with some of their assets. I know the cryptocurrency, I had ETFs, and yeah, ETFs can rise really big at the beginning, but then they can really fall because it's hyped up. So that's where I'm at. So that's sort of the stocks. Tell me how that was for everyone. Was this helpful? Does it give you like what are you going to do? Are you going to purchase some? Any that you liked more than others? How much are you going to do? Talk to me. Y'all stayed and watched, so I'm hoping it was worth it for you. Sheila, you purchasing? Which one did you like and why? Sheila said, girl, yes, thank you. I'm purchasing. Facebook, about 6 of y'all hung in there to the end. All right. If this was helpful, you guys can go ahead and just share this with people. I think especially, and I really mean this for the black community especially, like, they've been putting us in jail for this, so let's make money off of it legitimately, And I think they said it's projected to be $100 billion in 10 years. What's the marijuana industry current sales? $22 billion in sales by 2022. So, I mean, $100 billion I don't even think is... Okay, right now it's $1.8 billion. They think it's going to be $100 billion industry. Easy, right? Like, come on, easy. I don't even think that's going to be hard to do. So, if it's $1.8 billion now, and they're projecting 100, and so anyone can project anything that they want, but you know what, when it comes to drugs or marijuana, like, I know we can put money on that. So if you buy now at $5 stock and it's going to be 100 times that, right? So is this $5 in 10, 15 years going to be $500? Is that, you know what I mean? It's just something to think about. This is definitely a long-term play, and right now I would just take time to be positioning. So if you only had I really wanted to do this. If you only had like $5, right? Or you only had like you only had so much you can invest in. You couldn't invest in all of it. Which ones would you do? And I just wanted to give you what my suggestions would be. My suggestions would be, let me go to back to my screen. If you were going to do it, I would just do it with these I would basically do CanTrust Holdings, Aurora Cannabis. Gosh, I like anything organic. So I personally like anything organic because that's definitely the wave in the future, and that's not going anywhere. I would do Organigrams, Tech Corp, CV Sciences, right? Get into the CBD medical use. Tilray's expensive, so maybe you get like, you can get it in stockpile, which means you can get like, for $35 you can get half a share, so that's good. That's why I like stockpile. Yeah, that's what I would get. I would get Aurora Cannabis. I'd get CanTrust Holding. I'd get Organigrams. I'd get Chronos or Canopy. You can't go wrong with that. And these are on stockpile, so if you only want to get $15 of it today, you can, and then the other $15, and so every 2 months. It just depends on how much extra you have. I would do Chronos Group. So let me highlight the ones that I would buy if you didn't have, if you had limited capital, right? Because we don't all have. I use money from my 401k. I have a solo 401k, so that's where I use the funds from. Anything targeting pain, because I've had to take pain, you know, back pain, so I understand. If I had to just choose a few and say you only had like $50 a month to invest, I'd look at these. These are the ones that I would do. So Aurora Cannabis, and if you want, I can type them. Yeah, that's what I would do. Hey, you got to get a trading account, but Jay is saying Robinhood account's worth it. And Jay, I'm so glad you made it on. I know people who follow me for real estate investing have been like, hey, you should reach out to Jay for like ever. So it's really nice to see. And guys, I'm going to be on his podcast in a couple weeks. I'll let you guys know about it. And Jay, you go into more than just real estate. You do apartments, you do... If you have a link you want to share, go ahead and share, Jay, for your Robinhood accounts. If you have like an affiliate link or something, you want to put that in. What else do we have? Yeah, that's it. What do you think? Tell me what you're going to buy, if any. Did this open your mind? Did you know about this already? Was the research that I did helpful in sharing? Like, I know sometimes I was like, what was that company for? But like, it was like a week and a half ago. And sometimes you just get research, make your notes, go with your intuition. Yes, no. And you sort of like don't remember every single one you purchased. But that's how it was. Tell me how this was for you guys. But yeah, and Vivica, about your question about the trade account, look, start with what you have. I like stockpile because I can do fractional shares, and sometimes when you're investing, you just don't have 1,500. Sometimes you have 100. Sometimes you have 50. Okay, that's why I like stockpile, because they're $1 a trade. You can get started. You can be strategic about it, and really start building your portfolio. But what I'm going to do, because I'm really into marijuana, so even if it pulls back, although it already had pulled back, so I think I was at the bottom, even if it pulls back, I'm still going to purchase more. Like over the next year, I'm going to shore up my positioning in marijuana. And then as it goes from a $1.8 billion industry to a $2 billion to $2 billion to $5 billion to $5 billion to $20 billion to $20 billion to $30 billion, my stocks who are already established are going to grow with it. So this is more of a longer term 10, 15 year play that I am positioning myself for. But this is really low prices. All right, we're good? All right, I'm going to jump off. Anything else? We good? You guys gave it some hearts and some likes, so I'm assuming this is worth it. Yeah? Jay, I'm impressed. You stayed to the end. Yeah, so Vivica, if you had a setback and you're rebuilding, just like that's okay. Just start small, right? Alanya Kohlberg, she's someone who sort of inspired me. She's like, you don't need a ton of money when you have things like Stockpile or Robinhood account. I got to find out about that. You just need to, if you have 20 that you can invest, do the 20. Like, you'll be surprised how 20, and then next month you have 60, and then next month, because you figure out how to get 20, or you figure out how to get 60, you'll figure out how to get 100, and how that sort of just percolates on itself, because you're gaining skills and a certain energy that sort of feeds on itself. That happens with everyone. So start slow. Oh, you got 20 shares? Yes. Yeah. I don't think you can go wrong, Jay. What's in Bev? Okay. Alanya is great. I'm on her Facebook feed too. She be going at people. I love it. I'm always liking and sharing her stuff. She has something to say and she says it so well. Glad she accepted my friend request. That doesn't always happen. Alright guys, I'm going to jump off. And I hope this was helpful. If you like this, please share it with your friends. Share it with your community. Share it with people, because I felt like growing up, we were always the last to know in the Black community about everything. We were the last to know. And it's time for us to be the first, right? It's time for us to be in it at the ground floor. So even if it's just a little bit, I want you to do it, please. I mean, for all of our sakes, right? Like, I don't know if we're going to get reparations, but, if my $5 stocks becomes 100 and I have 20 of them or 50 of them, and I bought them when they were cheap over that, over 2019, well, that's a beautiful story to retire off of, right? So, and it is long term. Can you do long term? Right? But thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Roxanne. I so appreciate your feedback and that you stayed on. I'm going to jump off. Love you guys. And that's a wrap.